Humans are fundamentally social creatures. From the moment we are born, our brains start wiring themselves through interactions with others. This isn't just a matter of culture or preference, it's biology. Social contact shapes how our brain develops and functions throughout our lives. So when someone experiences a lack of social contact, it's not just loneliness or boredom. They are experiencing a disruption to essential brain processes that impact cognition, emotion, and even physical health. At its core, social interaction stimulates key brain regions responsible for managing emotions, memory, and decision-making. For example, the prefrontal cortex, which helps us plan and regulate behavior, is highly engaged when we're interacting with others. This area allows us to take others' perspectives, suppress inappropriate responses, and navigate complex social environments. Without social engagement, activity in this region diminishes, making it harder to regulate emotions or solve problems effectively. This effect is not theoretical. It's observable in people placed in extreme isolation, like prisoners in solitary confinement. These individuals often show declines in attention, memory, and emotional stability within days or weeks. They may experience irritability, anxiety, or even hallucinations. The brain's usual social workout is missing, leading to cognitive and emotional decline. It's as if the brain's social muscles begin to atrophy without regular use. The amygdala, a part of the brain involved in processing emotions and detecting threats, is also affected by isolation. Normally, social cues help regulate the amygdala's response, signaling when an environment is safe or when someone is friendly. Without social contact, this regulation weakens, and the amygdala may become hyperactive. This causes the person to become more sensitive to perceived threats or social rejection, even if those threats are minimal or imagined. It's a feedback loop. Less social contact leads to more anxiety, which makes future social interaction feel more threatening. Loneliness, which is distinct from just being alone, adds another layer to this process. Loneliness is the subjective feeling that one's social needs aren't being met. Chronic loneliness has been linked to increased stress hormones, poor sleep quality, and even inflammation in the body. These physical changes negatively impact brain health, affecting memory and mood regulation. Studies comparing lonely and socially connected individuals find that loneliness can increase the risk of depression and cognitive decline. Interestingly, the default mode network, which is active when the brain is at rest and involved in self-reflection and imagining others' thoughts, also shows disrupted activity during social isolation. This network helps us understand our own and others' minds, supporting empathy and social understanding. When someone is isolated for long periods, this network doesn't function optimally, making it harder to think about others or oneself in balanced ways. This can lead to increased feelings of detachment and difficulty re-entering social environments later. Many people experienced mild to moderate social isolation during the COVID-19 pandemic lockdowns. Research from this period supports what we know about the brain's dependence on social input. People reported increased symptoms of anxiety, depression, and difficulty concentrating. The lack of daily social interactions, conversations with coworkers, casual chats with friends, family dinners, meant the brain wasn't receiving its usual stimulation. The mental fog and emotional strain were real effects, not just situational discomfort. Even less extreme examples illustrate how vital social contact is. Consider someone moving to a new city without knowing anyone, or an elderly person living alone with little outside contact. They may not be completely isolated but have limited meaningful interactions. Over time, they may show signs of cognitive slowing, mood disturbances, and reduced motivation. This underscores that social contact isn't only about having many people around, but having meaningful, consistent interactions. One surprising effect of social isolation is how it alters our perception of time. When disconnected from social rhythms, like shared meals or group activities, people often experience time distortion. Days can blur together, and people lose track of time passing. This happens because our internal sense of time is partly calibrated by social cues and routines. Without them, the brain's temporal processing becomes less accurate, adding to feelings of disorientation. Physical health also takes a hit when social contact is missing. Research shows that loneliness and social isolation increase the risk of cardiovascular disease, high blood pressure, and weakened immune function. This happens partly because social connection helps regulate stress responses. Without social support, stress hormones like cortisol stay elevated, which over time damages brain cells and bodily systems. So isolation doesn't just affect mood or cognition, it influences the body as well. It's important to remember that people vary in their tolerance for solitude. Some individuals, such as introverts, may find alone time restorative and need less social contact to feel balanced. However, even for the most solitary-minded person, complete and prolonged isolation eventually leads to negative brain changes. Evolutionarily, humans survive by forming groups, cooperating, and sharing resources. This history means our brains have a baseline need for social engagement that even the most independent among us cannot ignore. The brain's adaptability, or neuroplasticity, offers hope. While social isolation negatively impacts brain function, re-engaging with others can help repair those effects. People returning from isolation often find it initially challenging to reconnect. Social skills may feel rusty, anxiety may be heightened, but over time, the brain rewires itself through positive social experiences. This recovery underscores the brain's incredible resilience. Even low-level social contact matters. Simply seeing people in shared spaces, hearing conversations, or making eye contact with a stranger can send signals to the brain that the environment is safe and connected. These small interactions help regulate stress and maintain social brain circuits. For people who cannot engage deeply with others, such minimal contact can still provide important benefits. Pets also play a role in buffering isolation. Interaction with animals can stimulate similar brain regions involved in social bonding and reduce stress hormones. This is one reason therapy animals are used to support mental health, especially in people who are lonely or isolated. It's also useful to consider how technology factors into this picture. During the pandemic, many people relied on video calls and online social networks to maintain contact. While not a perfect substitute for in-person connection, these forms of communication do activate social brain circuits and can help mitigate some negative effects of isolation. However, excessive screen time without meaningful social engagement can sometimes increase feelings of loneliness, highlighting the complexity of social connection. When we examine professions that experience long periods of isolation, such as astronauts or researchers stationed in remote locations, the importance of maintaining social contact becomes clear. Space agencies, for example, prioritize regular communication between astronauts and their teams on Earth, provide virtual social activities, and closely monitor mental health to counteract isolation's effects. These strategies underscore the real and measurable impact of social contact on brain health. In summary, your brain without social contact isn't just understimulated. It undergoes changes that affect your emotions, cognition, and physical health. Key brain regions involved in emotion regulation and social cognition lose activity. Stress responses become dysregulated, and the body suffers increased wear and tear. But the brain's plasticity allows recovery through re-engagement and meaningful connection. Social contact isn't a luxury or a nicety. It's a biological necessity, essential for maintaining mental and physical well-being throughout life. So, if you ever find yourself feeling disconnected or withdrawing from social life, remember it's not just about feeling lonely, it's your brain signaling a real need. Reaching out, even in small ways, can help restore balance and keep your mind sharp. Our brains, after all, are made to connect.